The house on Willow Street. When I first saw the house on Willow Street, I almost laughed. A home like that, 2 stories, ivy climbing its brick walls, a little garden gone wild with roses, should have been far beyond my budget. Yet the rent was so low, it almost felt like a mistake. The landlord, a tired man in a brown coat, shrugged when I asked why. People don't stay long, he said simply. Old house. Has its quirks. I didn't care about quirks. I needed a place to start over, away from the noise of my old life, away from mistakes I didn't want to carry anymore. So I signed the lease, thinking I had found a bargain. But bargains often come with a cost. The first night, I lay awake on a mattress that still smelled faintly of mothballs. The wind rattled the windows. The wood groaned under its own weight. Then, just past midnight, I heard its footsteps above me. Slow, careful, deliberate. But the attic was empty. I told myself it was nothing. Old houses creak, that's all. The next morning, I explored the neighborhood. Willow Street was quiet, lined with trees whose branches arched like guardians over the road. The houses were old but charming. My next door neighbor, Mrs. Green, was tending her flower beds when I greeted her. She peered over the fence, squinting. You're the new tenant, then, she said. Yes, just moved in yesterday. Her eyes softened, though her voice carried a warning. That house remembers, dear. Take care of it, and it'll take care of you. I laughed politely, not sure what she meant. But later, those words would echo in my mind. The attic called to me. Its door stuck as if it hadn't been opened in years. Inside, dust lay thick on the floorboards. The air smelled of paper and old wood. And in the corner, I found it. A trunk, its leather cracked with age. Inside were letters, tied with faded ribbon, and a journal bound in brown leather. The first entry was dated October 12th, 1987. It belonged to a woman named Eliza. Her writing was elegant, her words full of longing. She described the house, how she loved its garden, how she dreamed of filling it with laughter and children. But as the months passed, her entries grew darker. She wrote of arguments, of waiting, of silence. She wrote about someone named James. And then abruptly, the entries stopped. I closed the journal, unsettled. The attic felt colder now. I could almost imagine Eliza standing beside me, still waiting. The days passed. The house grew stranger. A chair moved slightly when I wasn't looking. A window I was certain I had closed stood open the next morning. At night, I heard faint humming in the hallway, a tune I didn't recognize, but soft, almost gentle. I should have been afraid, but I wasn't. It felt less like the house was haunted and more like it was lonely. One rainy afternoon, I returned to the trunk and searched deeper. Beneath the letters, I found something pressed between the pages of the journal. A withered flower, flattened by time, and a name written faintly beside it. James Whitmore. I needed answers. The town library became my refuge. Its walls smelled of dust and old ink, and the librarian, Mr. Collins, seemed to know every story the town had ever carried. When I mentioned the house, he raised his eyebrows. "That place again," he muttered. "Always that place." He pulled an old file from the archives. Eliza Carter. Lived there in the late 1980s. She was engaged to James Whitmore. He left for overseas work and never came back. "Did he die?" I asked. "No record," Mr. Collins said. "No obituary, no return, just gone. And Eliza? She never left that house. Faded away, they say." His voice lowered. "Some folks claim they still hear her there, waiting." A chill slid down my spine. Back at the house, I began to notice things I had overlooked before. A photograph tucked behind a loose panel in the living room wall, a young woman with dark hair and hopeful eyes, standing beside a man whose arm wrapped around her shoulders. Eliza and James. In the kitchen drawer, an old brass key, too small for any of the modern locks. In the basement, faint chalk marks on the wall, as if someone had been counting days. The house wasn't just holding memories, it was keeping secrets. I started speaking aloud when I was alone. "Eliza," I whispered one evening, sitting by the fireplace with her journal in my lap. "What happened to you? What are you waiting for?" The air seemed to shift. The candle flame flickered, and for a heartbeat, I thought I heard a sigh, not angry, not frightening, but weary. Mrs. Green noticed my exhaustion one morning. "You look pale, dear. That house keeping you awake." I hesitated. Then I told her about the footsteps, the journal, the name James. Her eyes misted. "Ah, poor Eliza. I remember her. She used to sit on the porch every evening, waiting for the postman, always hoping for a letter. But none ever came." "Did anyone ever find out what happened to him?" She shook her head. "Some said he left her. Others said he died far away. She never spoke of it. She just kept waiting." The mystery consumed me. I searched old newspapers, asked questions at the town hall. Finally, I found a clue. A record of James Whitmore boarding a ship in 1987. But after that, nothing. No arrival. No trace. Had he died at sea? Had he chosen never to return? The answer seemed forever lost. One night, unable to sleep, I climbed to the attic again. I read the final entry in Eliza's journal. The ink trailed off mid-sentence. "He promised me." The pen mark stopped abruptly, as if she had been interrupted and never continued. I closed the journal and whispered into the silence, "I promise you, Eliza, you're not forgotten. Someone remembers now." The attic grew warmer. The heaviness in the air lifted just a little. For the first time, I felt the house exhale. Weeks passed. The house grew gentler. The footsteps stopped. the humming faded. The rooms felt brighter, the garden more alive. One morning, I found something I hadn't seen before, a sealed envelope slipped under the attic door. The paper was yellowed, the ink faded, but it was addressed to James Whitmore. Inside was a letter from Eliza. She had written of her love, her hope, her endless waiting. And at the end, if you never return, I want you to know I loved you. I always will. I held the letter against my chest. The next day, I walked to the river. I stood on the bridge, the wind carrying the scent of rain and earth. I read Eliza's words aloud, letting them drift into the air. And then, gently, I released the letter into the water, watching it float away. In that moment, I felt it a profound stillness, followed by warmth, like sunlight breaking through clouds. The house on Willow Street had finally found peace, and so had I. Living there taught me something I will never forget. Every place carries stories, some unfinished, some forgotten. But when we take the time to listen, to remember, we give those stories an ending. And in doing so, we often heal parts of ourselves too. I moved into the house as a stranger seeking shelter. I stayed because it became a home. And in the quiet of its walls, I learned that even the loneliest places can bloom again. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe for more stories that will help you learn English and inspire you. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep learning, and keep moving forward.